I forgot to click the scene. Welcome into the Fallout Shelter, everybody. Much love to you. Good to see you all. Let me start over because I was just lost there for a second. Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Fallout Shelter. I hope you're having a great morning, noon, afternoon, night, whatever the case may be, wherever you're at. I hope it's a great one for you and yours. Hey there, Stephanie, Denise, Legend King of Storms, Paul Levi, Scott Free, Homestead, Wyoming. Good to see all you guys today. Much love to you all. Enoch Hayes of the Humble Disciples, welcome in. Much love to you, brother. I think White Mike's the other one. Love what y'all got going on, man. Appreciate everything y'all are doing as well. Okay, right back at ya, Paul Levi. And yes, we are one day closer every day. Much love to you. Plasto Platoons, Paris Logan, Sister Golden Hair coming on in here. Much love to you all. Okay, I'm going to break up a little bit today because the last couple of days I've come in here and I've been reading those studies. Well, today I finally sat down because I was going to tear all the computer apart last night, but I got most of it apart and I just left the main pieces up, and I was just fixing to do this area. And I noticed I had like 1,000 emails. I said, well, I'm going to go through some of these, get rid of the junk ones. And I come across some fairly interesting news stories. So we will see here, in the next 24 hours, exactly how much of this YouTube don't like. If they crash me, the links are in the description for the Fallout Shelter news. I've seen a lot of you guys went over there and subbed. I appreciate it. That's where I'll go to if this goes crashing down, and we'll just start from scratch over there and go again. You know what I mean? But I've seen some of these things, and I feel like there's just some things I've got to try to get out. And some of it's just things that I find interesting, and I thought that I would share with you guys. So I'm just going to get right on into it and get everything going. And let's see. Okay. That is not the story I wanted to start on. Now, I've been showing this story to D-Live a good bit when I get on to D-Live. And it's really hard for me to talk about some of these things here. Let's just say I think frequencies have a lot to do with everybody's neurodegeneratives. And I can leave that right there. I think as everything else I do here, y'all can kind of figure that out. But I found this that came out on July 1st from 2021. Now, some of these links, I don't have them in the description. And quite frankly, I don't know that I'm going to, because some of these news articles are starting to get hit in descriptions for copyrights. I don't get it. What I have done and what I'm going to do like right now is when I'm done, as soon as this is over, I'm going to probably tweet out some of these stories. And you guys will know why they're out there. And then I'll probably put them in Discord. And then I'm going to leave these news stories at that. The rest of them are mainstream news. You can find them at the AP. You can find them at Forbes. They're not hiding things anymore. They are straight up rolling out the agenda, putting it on you. And I'm going to tell you something else. There's a lot of people that go, oh, this guy's, he's a Freemason. He's just doing, they're telling you the truth right now. They are blasting their truth, and they are doing their best to tell you what's going on while they grab you. Yo, Humble, much love you too, bro. I see the other brother up in here a while ago. Enoch, much love to both of y'all. Good to see you. Like what y'all doing. All right. Let me start right here. As much as we talk about frequencies and neurodegeneratives, I'll keep forgetting these. I'll forget these over and over, but I'm trying to use the right terms to not get smashed. We've dealt with so many things where we find out that all of our nerve endings in our skin are the first thing that picks up all of these frequencies, whether it's ionizing radiation, non-ionizing radiation, whether it's even just the radiation part. It's just a lot of things. Your nerve endings pick them up, take them to your central nervous system, take that to your brain, because it is picking up these signals in the air as not a healthy thing. It's picking them up like you hit your hand with a hammer. Your nerves are there to tell you that was a bad idea. That was harmful. That was painful. Stop doing what you're doing. And eventually what happens is they become numb to it, and you end up with all of these whatevers, neurodegeneratives. New research from the Institute of Psychiatry, Psychology and Neuroscience at King's College London has shown that many of the symptoms in a fibromyalgia syndrome are caused by antibodies that increase the activity of pain-sensing nerves throughout the body. If you go back just a couple of streams, I did one that's called millimeter wave therapy and autoimmune suppression. You should check that one out. Don't know how it got by, but however it got by, it got by. Maybe because I didn't talk about that J company. Anytime I've mentioned the company that starts with a J that makes, all the good things for your children, I have got blasted for medical misinformation just by anything with their name in it. Then again, I'm pretty rough on the original Dr. Johnson, along with his relationship he had with Dr. Sanger and William Gates II. Remember, the one we got now is a third. I think I'm right about that. I could be wrong though. Remember, the internet you can do great research on the internet. YouTube videos are a great place to start, but even watching mine is not research. You need to look up the stuff for yourself, because that's where your real research is. What you got there, sweetie?
Green tea.
Green? Oh, that looks like something I'm not going to drink, huh?
No, it's good.
No, I'm sure it's good.
It's got honey in it.
It's got what in it? Honey?
Mm-hmm.
And tea?
Mm-hmm.
And tea.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't drink tea, guys. That's just kind of a weird thing for a guy from Mississippi, I reckon. But tea's never been a big thing for me. Coffee either, unless it's below like 45, 50 degrees. The results show that fibromyalgia is a disease of the immune system rather than its currently held view. Okay, this is what we're getting to. Fibromyalgia, and if you're going to count fibromyalgia, I'm going to guess. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I am a finished painter. But I'm going to guess that if you've got fibromyalgia, that's going to tie into peripheral neuropathy, cerebral neuropathy, there are so many different neurodegeneratives right now that are going on with people. I bet if we keep studying it and then they keep publishing it, we're going to find out that they're all diseases of the immune system. Guess what attacks the immune system? We've been going over it over and over and over. Just so y'all know, it's called the largest unethical medical experiment in human history. There's 2 parts of it before this one. And hopefully within the next couple of days there will be a part 3. I just didn't know if I could read quite that much right now. I'm not having a great day with my eyes. So anyway, back to fibromyalgia. Let's see. The study published today, it was published in Journal of Clinical Investigation, and I need to find that study probably, demonstrates that the increased pain sensitivity, muscle weakness, reduced movement, and reduced number of small nerve fibers in the skin that are typical of FMS are all a consequence of patient antibodies. Now, we've all heard about this ADE, this antibody dependency thing that's going on, that people are getting sick from the lollipops. When you go to the doctor and they give you sometimes a thing in the arm, if you're a kid, they give you a lollipop. So if you hear me say, get a lollipop, that's my term for, the V word. The researchers injected mice with antibodies from people living with FMS and observed that a mice rapidly developed an increased sensitivity to pressure and cold, as well as displaying reduced movement grip strength. In contrast, mice that were injected with antibodies from healthy people were unaffected, demonstrating the patient antibodies cause, or at least are, a major contributor to the disease. Side note, I don't have the story up right now, but it seemed like just a couple of weeks ago in Australia, we had a story about rabid mice overrunning everything. Too many mice, too many things to control. Well, I seen a story earlier where the company that actually produces the mice for all the research in Australia is no longer going to do so after 2022, and they're claiming it's going to be a big problem with research. No, it won't. There'll be plenty of humans that are willing to be researched on. You don't believe it? What's the number on the lollipop right now? In the millions? There's plenty out there that are willing quite easily to be a pincushion test for government, for industry, for whatever, I don't know. Just scare them a little bit. They'll do whatever you want them to do. Because God forbid we scare somebody and they go, oh, we got to do what they want us to do. Furthermore, the mice injected with fibromyalgia antibodies recovered after a few weeks when antibodies had been cleared from their system. This finding strongly suggests that therapies which reduce antibody levels in patients are likely to be effective treatments. Now, I think in our terms of what we talk about and what we deal with all the time, I don't think we're going to find a way to remove those antibodies just from our system. But what we can do, and one thing I'm working on now, and I'm using iodine, for those of y'all who want to know, is a detox. I've tried to change my diet. I'm taking the nascent iodine. I haven't ever tried the boron, whatever it is. Just haven't tried it. When I try something, I try it one thing at a time to see how it's working. The iodine worked well, and then I kind of quit taking it, and I kind of got to feeling bad again. But this helps us to clear the nanoparticulates out of our body that get into them from everyday life, whether they get there from causes that we talk about all the time, such as I'm trying to say this in a way that heavy fuels being burnt in ships, the fuels that are burnt in planes, all of the polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons that are added to those naphthalines to make the aluminum, barium, strontium, chromium, all of that into the atmosphere that become ice nucleization for the clouds. Anyway, with all of that going on, we take that in. We take in all the elements that are added into the food. We take in all the elements that are added into the water. We take all of the elements that are just added into our life daily that we do not consent to because nobody ever asks us, and start to get some of this out of your system. It has helped my neuropathy tremendously to cleanse my system. I was taking 1,600 milligrams of Neurontin, gabapentin, a day. And sometimes 2,000 milligrams if I couldn't sleep more than 4 hours in the middle of the night. At 2 o'clock in the morning, I'd wake up, I'd have to take another one, go to sleep, wake up at 6, hurting like crazy. Doctor said, you can't just quit taking that medicine. Well, Doc, y'all have told me a lot of things that haven't come true, so I just quit taking that medicine. And yeah, it was a rough week. But like I told him later when I went back, you don't know the things that I've had to stop doing. It wasn't even close to some of that. Anyway, I no longer take any pharmaceutical medications. Life was still a little bit uncomfortable for me from time to time. But I don't hurt near as bad now as I did when I was taking the Neurontin. I actually have got closer to a normal life. I have actually gotten closer to less pain. Now, when they're hitting the sky with those frequencies and you can look up at the clouds and see the what they call gravity waves, those days my joints hurt so bad. But what I found out is there's a thing called osteoneuroticism, and I had to go back to the Russian documents and research on frequencies and radio frequencies and electromagnetic frequencies. Let's just call them wireless frequencies. Their studies shown where those frequencies cause this osteoneuroticism in people, and basically it can be a locking up of the joints due to any type of electromagnetic frequency. It don't just have to be 5G. This has been going on for 70 or 80 years. We can go all the way back to just plain radio frequency waves starting to cause these problems. The fact that humans are starting to adapt to them and they have medications that can mask the pain, they're just able to get a little more powerful and a little more powerful. In the other discussions in that study that we're going over in the other streams, it talks about that, about how there is no real world setting for all of the studying that's going on, and the industry. This is what's really funny. The industry that creates the wireless communications are the same industry that tests and basically sets the wireless safety standards for the FCC. You know how to say that? Well, it's because the people that are now at the FCC used to be CEOs and chairmen of places like Apple, Verizon. That's how that works. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and move to the next thing because there's quite a few little things I'd like to go over, just some little news things. This is from Medical Express. I will go ahead and pop this one in the chat, and I'm probably going to give y'all a crazy looking screen when I do this, but it won't take but just a second. Yeah, I'm on a weird screen there. Alright, we'll do it like that right there. I'll figure out how to do this better. I'll get another monitor at some point, but right now I'm trying my best to get this whole place that we're in cleaned out. Alright, check this out. Now, I'm sure a lot of y'all heard about the troops just up and leaving Afghanistan. Now, on July 3rd, 2021, I found this to be an interesting little thing. Some of y'all will find this interesting. If you could take you a little trip to Afghanistan, you might could get a little glimpse of some of the 9/11 steel that was rushed away. You know what I mean? It says World Trade Center remnants are left behind as last U.S. troops depart Afghanistan. Ah, come on, man! I just knew they'd bring that stuff home and build a nice little thing here so we could look at the old metal that come out. Huh? Really? Why not? Remnants of New York City's most horrific hour will likely remain behind in Afghanistan, even as the final American troops leave the struggling nation after 20 years. We did exactly what we wanted to do. New York firefighters and police officers delivered debris from the World Trade Center at Bagram Air Base in December 2001, just days after the Taliban was toppled for harboring September 11th terror mastermind Osama bin Laden. Wow, it's hard to even get that sentence out knowing that's not the truth. A steel beam from the World Trade Center was erected at the base after being donated by President of Breezy Points, Queens in 2010. It has since become a base landmark emblazoned with World Trade Center stacked on top of 9/11/01. So if any of y'all were curious as to where the steel from 9/11 is, well, it's in Afghanistan at the bases where our military people were looking over their tributes. So anyway, how about that? New York Post. You can find that type of stuff at the New York Post. Another one from Forbes. Now check this out. I did find this to be interesting, and I definitely didn't put it in the, but I did think I would just give y'all a little heads up so that we kind of know what you know what's coming. I'm going to try this. Tajikistan, I don't know, maybe the J is silent. Or an H. Tajikistan becomes the first country in the world to make COVID-19 vaccines mandatory. And I just went ahead and blasted it out there anyway. Well, anyway, I'm just a study, so it's a story. Anyway, that country, Tajikistan, whatever it is, I don't know, on Saturday ordered the mandatory lollipopping against the certificate of vaccination identification for citizens over 18 years, making it the first country in the world. I'm not sure where Tajikistan is. I'm sure it's over there with Kazakhstan and Zakistan and all of those other stands. But I just had never heard of it. I'm not great in geography though. So the task force recommended that those who come to this place from abroad should be tested and self-isolate for 10 days, reported Russian news agency TASS. So, Tajikistan is now, you gotta have the lollipop, mandatory. Thought I would share that because it's the first place that's actually made it mandatory. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, and check this out. We all know about DARPA, right? There is a guy over on DLive, and as his right now he's going by Dr. Walter Bishop 44. He did go by I Am Kaiser Soze, and he was the first person that brought to my attention about HARPA. It's actually ARPA H, but they say HARPA is easily more pronounceable. So it's kind of an offshoot of DARPA, and but check this out. I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this link. I'm gonna mess the screen up one more time for y'all, and then we will move on forward. And I went to the wrong one. Okay. Technocrats are merging health security and national security. Health security, national security, to create the ultimate digital dictatorship. 3 technocrat-laced government agencies will operate in a lawless James Bond-esque fashion to sidestep all regulations. Note that former Google CEO Eric Schmidt, remember what I just said a minute ago, how these CEOs, how all of these directors, chairmen of these boards at these companies that are technological companies, that are pharmaceutical companies, that are large corporations, also end up in this position, is right in the middle of HARPA. Also note that HARPA initiative started under the Trump administration but is being implemented under Biden. This is why I like this story. Note, it was initiated under the right, being carried out under the left. It doesn't matter if it's a right boot. It doesn't matter if it's a left boot. If it's got your face in the ground while it's standing on your neck, you really don't know which one it is. All you know is it's a boot of tyranny. HARPA is the holy grail of massive, ubiquitous surveillance seen by technocrats as necessary to control society according to their science of social engineering. What if you don't want to be scientifically engineered? You know, like us, the 50 people hanging out here. I know I don't want to be scientifically engineered. I did enough of that to myself with what we called recreation back in the 90s and up into the 2000s. But it was informed consent. I knew what could happen going in. I weighed my positive versus my negative, not the real world positive negative, my positive negative, and I made decisions. I made decisions that did not benefit anybody in the long run. Not me, not the people around me, not the people I love, not even the people that were just around me. I don't want to be scientifically engineered. I was created perfect. I've goofed it up quite a bit, and I'm just going to hang out with what I got. A new proposal by the Biden administration to create a health-focused federal agency modeled after DARPA is not what it appears to be. Promoted as a way to end cancer, this resuscitated health DARPA conceals a dangerous agenda. And now this is, I'm not sure, but I Am Kaiser, he got took down on DLive. I think it ended up being a copyright issue, but it was this type of information that he was playing. Last Wednesday, President Biden was widely praised in mainstream and healthcare-focused media for his call to create a new biomedical research agency, which he read right off the card because, let's face it, he don't know anything at this moment. I want my pudding and I want to go to bed. Modeled after the U.S. military's high-risk, high-reward DARPA agency. As touted by the president, the agency would seek to develop innovative and breakthrough treatments for cancer, Alzheimer's disease, and diabetes, with a call to end cancer as we know it. And just in case y'all forgot, this man that was put in complete charge of the country, that was supposedly voted by more people than's ever voted for before, he's the biggest racist in the country. You don't believe me? Go listen to his words. I'm going to leave that right there. Yeah, I just called President Biden a racist. Him and all of his good KKK buddies that he's been seen in pictures with. And no, that's true. That was a false statement. That guy, Bird, he was never a grand wizard of the KKK. No. He wasn't a grand wizard at all. He was just an exalted cyclops. So that story was fake. Remember, when they take apart a story, they take it apart like a legal case. If you say this man was a Grand Wizard in the KKK, they can call that false because it absolutely is false. Does it change the fact he was in the KKK and that Joe Biden's standing right beside him? Absolutely no, it don't. What we need to do is make sure that when we do our fact checking, we straighten the story out and go, well, it is false, but he was an exalted Cyclops, and if you don't know what all that means, you might ought to do some more research. KKK, Freemasons, all the same thing. Go find you a picture of a Klan member, and go find you a picture of a Templar. Look at their crosses, look at their clothes. The only difference is they put a hood over their head. Anyway, this new agency, HARPA, will be housed within the National Institutes of Health. That's so awesome. We're going to talk about Dr. Fauci and the acting that they're doing in front of the country here in just a minute. Yep, because I'm telling you what I think. This is an editorial opinions of what I think what's going on in the country. Coming up about Dr. Fauci and Rand Paul. Boy, they're putting on a show, aren't they? They're such good actors. Nobody ever gets in trouble in those high places. Ever. Yeah, they might disappear and you don't know where they're at. That's because they're living on that island with Epstein right now. You know what I'm saying? Unlike other agencies at NIH, ARPA-H would differ in that the projects it funds would not be peer-reviewed prior to approval. Wait a minute. How much? Whoa. YouTube, you have thrown so much of our stuff out and said, that's junk science. Nobody even peer-reviewed it. And it said opinion at the top. You know, that's what editorial means. Opinion. Scientists can't have opinions. There is no such thing as science. It is just your religion. Oh yeah, they call that Scientology now, right? Instead, hand-picked program managers. Hand-picked by whom? You guessed it. It's going to be hand-picked by the hand-picked of the hand-picked. Instead, hand-picked program managers would make all funding decisions. Here's the thing, what's your problem? I caught Dr. Fauci in January of 2020. There's a study about the receptors being swapped over using false autoimmune diseases to make the spike protein jump from the bat to the human, and it came out in 2008 in the Department of Virology journals, and I show it, it's in here I've shown it a lot. I started showing it in January. It's all a scam. They know exactly what's going on. Everything that's shown on TV is just a way to push the public into doing what they want them to do. Period. There's no other guys right there other than controlling the mind of the people. Producing what you want out of the mind of the people. As long as Fauci was the head dude and people were liking what he had going on, hey, let him go out there and do his thing. He's the guy, okay? Well, then all of a sudden, maybe, just maybe, there was enough of us that's going, this ain't right. And enough people started causing a stink that they started having to go, well, you know, we'll get to the Fauci story in a minute. I'm sure I'll have plenty to gripe about once I get there with him, because I'm on him and Rand Paul. Y'all might be mad at me, but it's all a scam. If Fauci was caught saying, I gave them a check out of my pocket to Dr. Shi to do gain-of-function research, he would never see the inside of a jail cell. How many people are on the Clinton kill list? Excuse me. ARPA-H will likely heavily fund and promote mRNA vaccines as one of the breakthroughs that will cure cancer. There's the ticket right now for everything going on right now. Look, honestly, I would love to tell you that I think they're sitting there writing down and they're coming up with, this is how we're going to end the world, this is how we're going to do this, this is how... I don't think that in their mind, that is what they think. Now, that's what always ends up happening in their end products. Why? Because they don't understand one rule. The love of money is the root of all evil. Companies have gained billions of dollars in profit this year alone from the money that they have gotten from world governments, number one, for the research and development, and number two, for the purchase of these lollipops to their countries. The CEOs of these companies have personally gained billions in wealth. 4 new billionaires were created based on stock prices alone. This is where this is going. Cancer. They've been trying to use mRNA technology for cancer for 15 years. The problem is you can never get a large enough group to find the safety manner for the gene therapy. Okay, so what do? We come up with a sickness, we come up with a way to scare people, and then we come up with a way to give them a test. Now let's talk about that test. Let's just go right into that story now. The one that I have up there to talk about. This is from the New York Times. I have no idea why that's opening. Oh, I know. I must have clicked the little thing down there. The New York Times. I do have this listed at Twitter, but I do not know how to share the Twitter link right now. But it is at Twitter, and I will have it in Discord on the... I will have it in Discord somehow. You know what? And I'm going to give it to y'all in the chat. New York Times. But still... Okay, now, hey Kurt, Deidre, Kurt, Rare Breeds, Ryan, Face in the Sky, Don't Jab Me Bro, T. Luke, Radical Life, Placid. I didn't see none of y'all earlier. Welcome in, Ron, I love you guys. Oh, much love to you all. Deidre, Jab, Neil, good to see all of y'all. Paul, Chicken Patty, Audacity. I got to go in and I just forgot all about the chat over there. A dog named Boo. Look like y'all been having a pretty good chat though. F for the government. Hey there, Indigo. Good to see you. Sovereign Mind 1969. Rick Swain. Much love to all you guys. Whew. Good to catch y'all in there. Pay attention a little bit. Okay. New York Times. Why aren't the lollipops approved? Okay. Now, let's go through a little bit of this, and then let's go back to the cancer research. The cancer genomic therapy is where their real money is going to be at. And Silent Walk, hey, welcome in. Well, thank you for those kind words. They make my day and help keep me going. The pine, absolutely, face guys. Never thought about that. So much I don't think about because I'm reading this crazy stuff. Okay, where am I at? It is the most discordant part of the United States government's response to this little thingy right here. Even as President Biden, the CDC, and virtually the entire scientific community are urging, pleading with, we'll give you whatever you want. Please go take our genomic therapy. The government has not formally approved it. Okay. President Biden, the CDC, and this is the New York Times, people. This is the New York Times. This isn't... Granted, I'm not trying to say, read your news. It's all true. Read your news. We've been saying this for so long. Why are they saying it? I'm sure there's a twist at the end of it to make the sheep fall right back in line and go in place. But this is some truth in here. Pleading with, just giving stuff away. Please go get popped. It's not formally approved. The FDA has instead given only EUA to the lollipops from, those 3 fine companies that are in the United States. This is so hard for me. This sucks. I am not good at. That's a temporary form of approval that allows people to receive shots while the agency continues to study their effectiveness and safety. The difference between emergency authorization and full approval matters. Matters. How many of us have been saying that for years? Since all of this started over a year and a half ago. Full approval. Consent. I'm not against a company making this product. I'm not against a company putting these genetic therapies together and going, look, here's what we found. If there's some idiot out there that wants to run right up in line and go, I want it. That's their choice, just like it's my choice not to get it. Not to get it. Freedom. Informed consent. There's enough information out there for you to have informed consent. There's enough information out there for you to make wise decisions. The lack of FDA licensure, that should be enough sentence right there. If I was a person that even believed in the system, I would be smart enough to look at the stories and go, how come there's a story in the New York Times about the approval, and how come it was never approved to begin with? I could look that up and then I could at least make an informed decision. But no, we'll give you ice cream, we'll give you donuts, we'll give you beer, we'll give you lap dances in Nashville. You can go to male or female strip clubs, VIP for life, because we're not really sure how long your life will be after this anyway. But it's a good test, right? And if we don't know the safety measures, well, we can never get these cancer therapies approved. And when those cancer therapies are approved, guess what? There ain't going to be no free beer. There ain't going to be no free weed. There ain't going to be no lap dances. There's going to be, oh, you got cancer? What's your insurance company, or how much property do you own, or do you have cash to pay in advance? Don't believe me? Go find out about some of these expensive therapies they're using lasers on for neuropathies and nerve degeneratives, trying to repair these nerves. Find out what they want in advance. Nobody's trying to help you. Nobody in $1 trillion a year industry is just trying to make you sick and giving you something. No, when they take money away from you at your job and they go put that to pay back the loan that they got from the reserve. Because remember, your taxes don't go to fund anything. They borrow the money from the Federal Reserve to fund the government. Then they pay the Federal Reserve back with your tax money, because they were able to put much more money on the books when you were born, because your birth certificate allows them to draw so much money that you will pay back over your lifetime. Don't believe me? Look all that up. You are paying for it all, no matter what you believe. Henry Ford, the man that invented the assembly line, or that came up with the most efficient assembly line, said, if the common man understood the current economic system, they would all uprise by morning. So if you figure he probably said that in a noon to afternoon, what he was saying is if they figured it out tonight, we're all going down in the morning. Remember, guys, all of us together over here, a lot of us are going to have individual beliefs. A lot of us are going to have things that we believe within our hearts, that we can feel within our hearts, we can feel within our mind, we can feel within our soul, but somebody else may not feel that. We do have some actual truths that we can come together with here. We've got the truths that they are trying to take our freedoms, and that we're going to have to stand together. You may have to stand beside somebody that you don't necessarily agree with on a belief, but if you don't stand with them and fight for your freedom till the very end, you won't have a freedom to fight with them about your belief, and you try to correct each other, or you try to get each other to do, there won't be no choice. You'll all be locked up in your own little individual cells, contained and not in freedom. So remember that when we have our disagreements. I have disagreements with a lot of people, but I absolutely will stand beside them to fight for our freedom so that we can disagree when the tyranny's put back down. Benjamin Franklin said it. And I think that's Benjamin Franklin. I might need to look it up. But I'm pretty sure when they were going through everything they were going through, it was him who said, guys, if we don't all hang together, I can guarantee you we will all hang separately. Now for us, that could be a gas chamber, that could be a bullet, it could be a guillotine, but I can tell y'all this. If we do not hang together on all of these things that are going on, and that means within your own community with people who don't like you, who you don't get along with, we need to start understanding some of these things. If they separate us one by one, that's how they get us all separately. Let me get on into the FDA thing here because I'm totally off track. The difference between emergency authorization and full approval matters. Right now, the military, schools, and other organizations cannot easily require the lollipop. The lack of FDA licensure leaves schools, colleges, businesses in a legal quandary. The situation also feeds uncertainty and skepticism among some Americans who have not yet gotten it. Those skeptics, as this name I'm not going to try to pronounce, are effectively taking the FDA at its word. See, and I've been using that FDA at its word in a lot of places. That's why I printed out the FDA pages that I found. You can find them in the research links in Discord. It's the FDA about not having an approval for any of these three, how it is your choice. You can find those in previous streams and previous videos. The strangest part of all this is the FDA's official position does not reflect its leaders' actual views. They agree with this place and other scientists that Americans should be getting blank as soon as possible. Lollipop. But that leads to a good question, right? That leads to a great question. If the people at the Food and Drug Administration agree with the CDC, well, why aren't we getting that approval? I think it comes from all of those VAERS reports. I don't think they are getting, I don't think they're in their safety numbers, but yet they keep going forward with this EUA. And this EUA thing, let me explain one more thing too. If we ever go from an EUA, which is emergency use authorization, into a full approval. Now, I don't know if it's in this story. I haven't read the whole thing. But I do know this for sure. As long as it's emergency use, the government continues to pay the manufacturer for each individual lollipop. Once that ends and it becomes an approved product, then it starts coming out of your pocket, it starts coming out of your insurance, and there will be a price attached to it because it is no longer under our emergency use declaration. I expect most of this type of stuff to disappear around September the 15th anyway. I've talked to an American Airlines pilot who wants to go back to work. We heard the story about American Airlines. They don't have enough people. We got to cancel flights. They can't get people there. That is an absolute lie. The people that work for American Airlines are tired of sitting at home. They are welcoming to go back to work. And this pilot flat out told me, his boss told him, sit at home till September the 15th. You can come to work on September the 16th because on September the 15th is when we get our check from the federal government that is basically their stimulus for having all of the problems during the coronavirus issues. On September the 15th is when the government will pay out to companies and they will start to bring their employees back to work. A lot of these places that have signs up that say now hiring, go try to get you a job there. I was curious, especially some of the bigger places that have, fast food joints that are under big corporations, not anything. They all have signs up. Dollar Generals all have signs up. None of them are actually hiring. They will not hire a full-time person, period. Some of these in our little towns around here will not even accept your application for full-time work. If you're only going to mark part-time work, that's good. Well, that comes back into having to supply you health insurance. It comes back into all these other fine boots of tyranny regulations that have been insisted on your throat. over the last few years, ever since the great terrorist attack of 2001. Well, then why hasn't the FDA took that final step? It's following a version of its tradition, cautious process for vaccine approval. That process has historically blah, 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 blah. Guys, I just told you why they're not approving it. Now, I use this against people that I'm around all day long. Am I double talking? Absolutely. I'm living within their system with their rules. And like I told y'all, they've shut a building down that I work in right now. How come they give me no problem about the vaccinations, and how come they give me no problems about that? Well, it's because I walked into the director's office one day, and she was like, "Are you going to get your vaccine so you can come back to work?" And I handed her that, and I said, "I'll think about it." And now, granted, I'm not going to think about it, but I'm having a conversation with the people that I work in their building. I handed it to her, and I said, "I will think about it once it gets a full approval from the FDA." I said, until then, absolutely not. Not going to think about it, not going to look at it. I said, and we don't even need to talk about it. I said, and you shouldn't be making anybody forcibly take something that has not been approved by the proper government agency. I said, are you not abiding by the CDC and the health department's rules here now with all of your things you have going on? And she said, absolutely. I said, well, how come we're not going to go by the FDA as well? Well, and now the building that I work in is in a COVID lockdown, and they called me and was like, hey, we're probably going to be testing up here for a couple days. You just need to stay away. So, stand up for yourself, people. It doesn't matter where, but find real reasons to stand up for yourself. Number one, I didn't need any other reason. I didn't need any other reason flat out because it's an injectable thing in my body, my choice, right? That works both ways. My body, my choice, period. It doesn't matter. If you're going to say my body, my choice and kill a baby, I'm telling you my body, my choice just to keep some genomics crap out of me. I almost said a dirty word right there. Kind of fired up. The process that has historically had some big advantages, reducing the chances that Americans end up taking a faulty drug. Really? How many lawsuits are there on a daily basis, class action, against different drugs in this country? I mean, basically, Pfizer is one of the biggest criminal institutions in the world if you look back on the things they've had to pay out. Moderna, well, they're not yet because, well, they haven't got an FDA-approved product, period. They have one product with an emergency use authorization, and it's called mRNA-1273. And it's being given to millions of people around the world in a test. I think the FDA's leaders have failed to understand how most Americans really think about genomic therapy. No, most Americans don't think about genomic therapy. Most Americans don't have a clue what genomic therapy is. They think they're still getting aborted fetus lollipops. They don't know the difference. They don't care because you're taking away their normal life. And they're willing to give in to... I can't think of anything more invasive other than if you're going to take a saw and cut parts off of me than trying to take and put things into me and you really don't have a clue what's going to happen. Now, I told somebody else, I said, have y'all seen the numbers at VAERS? I said, and I said, even old Billy Gates, he said that 1 in 700,000 are going to have problems. I said, I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to problems, I'm a 1 in a million kind of guy. If there's a guy that's going to get hurt from that shot, I'm your huckleberry. So I'm not doing it. There's no testing, none of that, period. I'll go work. I'll go plow fields if I have to. And they're in our Dr. Dobbs in Mississippi. Oh, somebody got me fired up last night. I have a Mississippian gypsy mom over in the D-Live chat. Told me what our Secretary of Health or whatever he is in Mississippi said that I don't remember the exact. We're degenerates of some kind because we won't get the lollipop. Well, you know, there comes a time when there's things you're used to using in this world For most folks, it's a pen. For a lot of folks, it's their mouth. For a lot of us that grew up down here in the South, it's a way to cut things. Dr. Dobbs. Maybe we'll run into each other at a lake sometime. You can tell me how big a degenerate I am then. How about that? Say it to my face. Anyway, I know that'll never happen, but that's just kind of the way I feel. Y'all know what? I think that's a great place to end on. I do have one more thing in my Twitter, and I'm going to throw the link in here to y'all real quick. George Soros and Billy Gates. There it is. They're part of a consortium set to buy Mologic. Now, I don't know about y'all, but Mologic sounds like a word that they took the word Moloch, and then they took the word magic, and they put it together. And we got Mologic. So we've got Moloch magic. To me, that's what that says. Well, now you got, and that's just me, though. Just Fallout. Nobody else said that. That's what I think. That's an opinion, YouTube. That's called an editorial. It's called people having free-thinking ideas. Not based on me going, it's the friggin' law of the world that they're got a company that's the Moloch and... No. A UK-based maker of COVID tests in an effort to increase access to affordable state-of-the-art medical technology. Isn't that what they've been doing for years? What is state-of-the-art medical technology these days? We are attempting to change people's genetics with small interfering / messenger ribonucleic acids. But let's buy the testing place, cause why? Guess what, y'all? Unvaccinated people aren't going and getting tested. I don't care what the news tells you. If you don't have the jab by now, if you don't have any of that by now, you're not going to get it. You're not going to take the test. So when you see, oh, it is a pandemic of the unlollipopped. No, it's not. They're not going and getting tested. If they die from something, well, it might be a motorcycle wreck, but they're still going to say they were unvaccinated and died from COVID. If they're vaccinated and die from COVID, well, it was a heart attack or a blood clot. It wasn't the vaccine. It was... Anyway, I'm getting on where they'll start smashing me for medical information. If I'm not here later and I don't come back, Fallout Shelter News, link is in the description, and dlive.tv/Fallout Shelter. I was not going to talk about all this, but it appeared I did, and well, I'm not going to delete it. I'm not going to change it. They can just bite my rump about it. So yeah, now we got, Soros was a wild looking dude when he was younger too, ain't he? Look, they picked a young picture of Soros for that. He kind of reminds me of my grandfather. Take the funky hair away and the big nose.
And the weird face.
Well, maybe.
He's making
Maybe it's been so long since I've...
weird face. I'm saying he's making a weird face.
Okay, yeah, maybe that's it. My grandfather used to do that. To me, anyway. He wasn't a I love you kind of guy. We would watch wrestling and nobody else would sit there with us, and we'd get some ice cream and some A&W root beer and make some floats. And back then, I think it was Cowboy Bob Kelly, and they would be on TV on like Sunday afternoon or Saturday afternoon. Every once in a while I get to... Anyway, that's just something I had with my grandfather. He was kind of strange in a lot of things, but he loved wrestling and he loved root beer. My daddy could not stand wrestling, could not stand root beer.
That's funny because Ethan's favorite drink
is root beer.
Yeah.
I know. Okay, everybody. It's 2:26. I've been on here rambling for long enough. I've got to get this stuff tore down and try to get this cleaned up today. This is the part where I go into my belief. And you can go way back. I've talked about it a lot. My beliefs don't actually come from what I read in a book. They come from life experience. I was connected to really dark stuff at one time, and it led me into seeing and knowing things about a world that are around us that we can't see. Just put it at that. And I know that nothing saved me till I called on the name of Jesus. So, this is the part where us as believers, we get together, we lift each other up. If you are not a believer and you want to continue and join us, I appreciate it and I welcome you. If you're not, we appreciate if you just let us do our thing. And we lift each other up. We pray for each other, the people who are having bad things going on in their life, sad things going on in their life. We have had miraculous turnarounds in people that are involved in this prayer group. We have seen a girl who was on her deathbed suffering from cancer be claimed to be cancer-free. We have seen people who are directly in the paths of storms not get hit by the storms. We have seen people trapped in places allowed to get out. We've had a lot of miraculous things happen, and quite honestly, it's the only thing that kept me coming back to do this period. If you don't hang out, I want you to know that I'm still praying for you anyway. And I pray that the Father continues to put a draw on your heart and bring you closer to Him every day, and to show you things in this world that there's just no other way it could have been done without Him. So, well, thank you, Jad Neal. I want you to, number one, know I love you all. I appreciate you all. And when it comes down to standing for freedom, I will stand beside you no matter how different our beliefs are. For me, there is one truth, that we are in a battle of good and evil. Sometimes the people involved, they think they're doing the greatest things. I watched a movie a while back, and it was kind of a cheesy movie, but it was a movie kind of about the end times. And Satan had brought this woman to create her non-dying bees. And it actually resonated with me a lot, but I never pursued it because it's not really biblical. It's more of a story, but it puts so much into context. She didn't know she was working for the enemy right up until the very end. She thought she was saving humanity, and she did not realize that it was Satan standing at her side that she was fighting for. We battle not against flesh and blood. All of these scientists, I do believe that a lot of them believe they're out there trying to do good work for human beings, not realizing that in their tasks, they're not pushing for their Creator anymore. So, coming to Mexico, I don't know. New Mexico or Mexico? I've been to Mexico before. I don't think I can go back though. That little felony thing kind of keeps me from leaving the country that much.
That one guy that I have some admiration when he said that he regretted his.
You got to
work.
talk louder.
The guy, what was it, Duncan, the Duncan guy that said he regretted working on the Voice of God.
Oh, right. Most everybody that's been involved with a lot of these evil things later in life, they say, I regret being involved with this. You see a lot of that happen with the people that have been involved with DARPA, that guy who was involved with the Voice of God stuff.
That Robert Duncan or something.
And some of the greatest preachers for Christ were diehard Satanists. Mm-hmm. You know why? They've seen the evil power, because when you call on that evil power, it shows up in a way that you can feel it, see it, and know it. You don't just have to trust it. Yeah, anyway. Guys, I haven't been paying attention to the chat, and I'm having a little trouble reading it. So if you have a request, stick it into the chat, and God will see it. Father, we thank you for allowing us to come together today. We thank you for this time of fellowship, and I thank you for always keeping your hand on and protecting this. Father, I thank you for everything that you've done and all the blessings in our lives. I ask that you continue to go with all of us daily, that you provide that shelter that we need, that you provide that armor, so that we can fight against the devil, we can fight against that spiritual wickedness in high places, and that when those fiery darts are thrown in our direction, we can block them, pick them back up, throw them back, and that we can stand up in that day of evil and be heard and be strong. Father, if anybody in here today has anything on their heart, on their mind, hurting, if their family's hurting, I pray that you send the Holy Spirit to be with them, to dwell with them, to give them that comfort, to give them that healing, to give them everything that they need. Father, if there's anything special, you know it, you see it, and I just ask you to be there with them. And I ask that anything within your will toward the positive power of your people will be done. And I thank you for it all in Jesus' name. Father, we thank you for sending your Son to die on that cross, to be beaten for the sins of the world, to die for the sins of the world, and to be beaten so that we could come and be healed. And by his stripes, we are healed. 39 of them. And Father, I'm claiming that for all of the sickness in this chat now, and I'm claiming protection from the evil one in this last day from the Father in heaven through the Son. It's in his precious name that I pray. Oh. Well, I guess I could have took that old ugly mug. Well, there's an ugly mug on every scene I got set up anyway. If y'all look at the home screen, the picture of the shadow on the bus with the axe coming at it is from one of the Purge movies. It's from one of their trailers. That is what silence is in today's life. You may as well get off the bus, put your arms out to the side, and quietly take what's coming to you if you're not going to raise your voice and let it be heard. I found it. 8675309. Hey there, Jenny. And I got singing out of the way for Rhonda all at one time.
Okay, whatever.
Hey, Rhonda. Love is gonna find a way.
You better stop that.
Huh? I'm already laughing. I can't help it. I can't remember the words of the song when she says that, so. I love you all. Appreciate St. James. Good to see you, brother. Facing the Sky, Stephanie, Sovereign Mind, Dog Named Boo. I always love that name, a dog named Boo. I have a good friend of mine. His nickname is Boo. He's a DJ. And so I always think about him. And I ain't seen him in many, many years. T-Luke, Don't Jab Me, Bro. Kirk Marlowe. Rhonda laughing at me. She knows she's messing with me. She knows.
She knows you're messing with her back.
Uh-huh, she does. So anyway, I sang it right one time, as best I could anyway, after screaming for an hour. Everybody's saying howdy to you. She can't see the TV. I got a pile of books right here in front of it.
Books.
I was going through some books, and
Hey.
I want to show y'all. I've still got it on the top. I'm working on this one right now. If y'all can see that or not, it's Lennon. The Life and Death of Lennon by Robert Payne. I'm going to be reading that one when I get a little free moments. And I've been going through some of my books, straightening them up, cleaning them, the older ones anyway. And I took the one that was over 120 years old, and I put it up so I'll only get it out when I need it. It's with my Masonic Bible. I have a hardback Masonic Bible that was actually on a cube for many, many years. And I have a history of the Freemasons that was published in 1898. It's edition 1. So, trying to take care of that kind of stuff. All of you guys, I love you. I appreciate you. And if I get all the computer back up together in time, there'll be a D-Live stream tonight because I'm going to be at home the rest of the day, so I don't see any reason that can't happen as long as I don't have the computer tore down. And I may come back on tonight and and do part 3 of the frequencies. I just wanted to break it up a little bit. I didn't want to come here and do that every time. And like I said, I can't read real good right now. I'm having to kind of jump around. My eyes aren't great. But anyway. Headley Man. I ain't seen you in a while. Good to see you, brother. Karen Ann. Dr. Evales. Good to see all you guys. Always great catching up with you. Hey, y'all notice this is what, 3 YouTube streams within a week. Yeah, look, I got a golf clap from my wife. She went, I don't know how to take that. All right. Normally I would play music and I would chat with y'all, but I don't have any real music. And so anyway, love God, love your neighbor, and love yourself. Everything else will fall into place. I hope to catch all you guys later. I hope you all have a great day, and I hope God blesses your day greatly. Thanks for joining us.